No. Oh, man. It's a good thing I got more powder. Hey, guys, by this point, you've probably noticed that I changed the name of the channel again. So, with 2023 approaching fast, I've decided in this coming year that I'm gonna start doing something that I've been wanting to do, and I've decided that I'm gonna share it with you. It's a project that I've been planning on working on, um, and so I want to set up my daily driver as more of an overland vehicle, to where it would be useful, or more useful for going, camping in the backcountry and whatnot. Or if, society collapsed, it would be more useful in that sort of event, and I would be able to, you know, get everything, all the necessities, and head out if I had to run for the hills. I'm not saying that's really optimal. That's not what I would want to do, but if the situation dictated that that was the best course of action, then I want to have that option. So, my daily driver is a 2012 BMW X5. Uh, I got the diesel version, so, and the reason why I chose this type of vehicle. All right, so I like German cars, especially BMWs. I always have. I've owned BMWs for quite a while now, and I've owned. This is my fourth one. This is actually the third diesel BMW that I've owned, and it has the M57 twin turbo diesel engine in it that is pretty famously known for being just damn tough, as well as the 6 HP 28 transmissions that are in these vehicles. They're 6-speed sequential automatics, and they are just friggin' bulletproof for transmissions. There are some of these guys out here running these diesels that are tuned up and stuff, and they're pushing upwards of 1,000 foot-pounds of torque through stock transmissions, and they just keep going. There's really not very many of them that fail. So, of course, mine's not tuned up. The other two that I had were. So sorry about that. I had to answer a phone call. Apparently, my secondary job that's I just work random times whenever they decide to schedule me on a Saturday afternoon, and apparently they decided to schedule me and didn't tell me about it, so they were wondering where I was, and I'm at home now. So luckily they got somebody to stay and fill in because I'm not driving another 30 minutes back out of my way to go back to work, uh, after I've already gotten home and kind of calmed down because I've already been at work for half the day. So, anyways, getting back into this, so the X5 Overland project is what I'm doing in the coming year, and it's going to be an ongoing thing. It's going to take probably a few years to really get it totally figured out. But so the BMWs, or the X5s, the E70 models are pretty damn, like, they're pretty off-road capable. They're more capable off-road than they look. They don't have locking differentials and that sort of thing. They don't have a low range transfer case, but they are all-wheel drive. They got a decent amount of torque from factory, a good amount of power. They get decent gas mileage, even though diesel's kind of really high right now because of our current administration and their piss poor handling of our, our country. But I still, in that one, I'm averaging in town on the highway and everything. I'm getting 26 miles a gallon out of it, and they're towing capable of up to 7,000 pounds, which is pretty good. Um, they've got a lot of interior room, that sort of thing. So really, it met the reason why I ended up buying this thing is because it met the criteria that I wanted. Like, when I look at vehicles, I have a set criteria uh, for what I want it to be able to do, and it met the criteria, and so I went for it, and I freaking love this thing. It's super smooth riding, comfortable, everything. It's got all the bells and whistles, like most of 5 Series BMWs do. But it's also, a capable vehicle. Um, the traction control system and for off-road use is actually pretty interesting. It's pretty badass. It's got independent locking brakes uh, for all 4 corners. So if like you got a tire off the ground and it's spinning, it'll lock the brake up on that tire and shift the power, transfer the power to the one that's on the ground. And it'll do that for all 4 corners independently. So um, taking it off road, and it may not have the greatest suspension travel in that. So when you get on like really uneven ground and you've got a tire or two off the ground, it transfers the power to the tires that are on the ground that have the traction, and by way of locking those brakes up to keep those wheels from free spinning or freewheeling. So they're pretty cool, pretty neat vehicles, and they've got a lot of really cool technology in them that really make them pretty badass. Uh, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be hating. They're like, oh, you should have bought like a Toyota 4Runner or, a Jeep or something, this and that. And I'm like, I work for Chrysler, and you couldn't give me a Jeep. they, yeah, they're great. They're capable off road vehicles and stuff, but they are plagued with problems, especially with the 3.6s. And they've got transmission problems, differential problems, and stuff. Like even the new ones that have like 20,000 miles are coming in, they need CV axles and stuff like that. And it's crazy. They're just, I don't know, they're plagued with tons of problems. That's my only motivation not getting one. Now believe me, I've owned several Jeeps. I've owned like 6 Jeeps over the years, and I loved one of them, and only one of them never gave me any problems. The other 5 were like plagued with problems all the time. There was always something broke on them, and I was always having to do work on them. So the BMWs that I've owned, at least the last 3 diesels, and this one that I'm driving included, really haven't ever given me much trouble. Now, I will say they do have the typical emissions equipment problems that all new diesels have with their DPF filters and SCR catalysts and stuff failing. Um, when they get up there about 100,000 plus miles or so, that all that crap either needs to be replaced or deleted. And luckily, I live in a state that doesn't really enforce EPA laws, but they could at some point. So the other 2 BMWs that I had were deleted and tuned, and which made them pretty fun, the diesels. And they also got a lot better gas mileage. In the sedans, when they were deleted and tuned, I was running like 400 plus horsepower and about 700 foot-pounds of torque in both of them. And one of them had about 180,000 miles on it when I wrecked it. We'll just say that, and totaled it out. And then the other one I just sold recently, this summer, and it's got right at 100,000 on it. But and that thing averaged 32, 33 miles to the gallon all the time, in town, highway, and everything, and had 400 horsepower. I mean, there's not a performance and economical vehicle on the planet that can do both. You either get a lot of power or you get economy. You don't get both. That's the reason why I like the diesel BMWs, is because you get a little bit of both worlds. You know, you're not going to get crazy amounts of power like a Hellcat or something, and you're not going to get stupid amounts of economy like driving a Prius, but you're going to get an in between, mixture of the two, which is awesome because I've got, a 600-mile driving range on with the factory fuel system. And what I'm planning is I've got some stuff planned, but probably the first thing I'm going to work on is doing a lift kit on it. Nothing crazy, nothing too big, like maybe a 2-inch lift, because I really don't want to get into messing with the suspension geometry on it, because I really like the way it drives already. But maybe give it just a little bit extra clearance, and so I can run a little bit taller tire. That's about it. I still want this thing to be like it's my dedicated daily driver, so I don't want to get too crazy with it. But I'm also looking at having some custom bumpers made, uh, and that sort of thing for it. And also, I'd like to do a rooftop tent, and then actually a spare fuel cell. And I'm thinking doing the rear bumper, custom rear bumper, is have a spare tire carrier set up on it to where it swings out of the way of the door when I open the lift gate, but have the spare tire actually mounted on the back of the vehicle instead of inside in the spare tire area under the rear floor panel. So, and in that space where the spare tire is, there's actually a pretty significant amount of room there. I kind of want to look into having a custom spare fuel cell made that might hold somewhere between 5 and 10 gallons of extra fuel. And that would give me like another 150 to 300 miles of range, give or take. And so I think that would be cool to add in there. And like, if I could get it up there about 750 or maybe closer to 900 miles of total range on the vehicle, that would be awesome. Before it's totally out of fuel. And that way, if shit really does hit the fan one day, uh, I'll be capable of going that far at least if I need to. But other than that, I'm probably gonna do also a trailer setup, a box trailer, closed in trailer setup for carrying other essential equipment, because once my family gets loaded in the vehicle with their immediate essential equipment, it's gonna be pretty full. And so a trailer is probably going to be necessary for other things, additional gear and equipment for survival. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get into that. I don't know. It's just fun, just for fun, but also kind of serious about it, I guess. Um, Also getting back into loading some different cartridges. Starting on a new cartridge soon. I haven't ordered the dies yet for it, but I'm going to 6.5 PRC, and I also am going back to the cartridge that got me into reloading in the first place, which was 10mm auto. And I bought a SIG P320X10 10mm, and I traded my 338 Lapua for a custom built 6.5 PRC. So, and the reason for that was to cut down on my cost in reloading, because even reloading the 338 Lapua was still costing me like $2 every time I pulled the trigger on that thing. So, especially with the burger bullets being, pretty expensive. With the 6.5 PRC, I'll be able to use the same bullets in it as I do in my 6.5 Creedmoor, and it uses less powder than the 338 Lapua. So it'll cost me a lot less to load for it. Gets me back into like that dollar around area, give or take. So, anyways, I just thought I would give y'all an update on the change to the channel name, and hopefully, this coming year I'm going to be able to work more on these projects. Since we bought our new house and everything, had to put a lot of stuff on credit cards, and then selling my last BMW, I was able to pay off one credit card that had like a crazy amount of debt on it. Um, but that's life, and sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do and spend money that you don't have to accomplish your goals. But now that I'm getting out of that, and I was able to sell some stock that I had that in an account that was just bleeding money anyway, so I decided to just sell it all off, and I took that money and paid off another credit card. So going into 2023, I am almost credit card debt free. I'll have about, I think, $1,000 of credit card debt going into 2023. And this year, in the middle of the summer, I was at like 15,000. So that's awesome, and I'm super proud of that. Being able to get rid of that much credit card debt that quick, within a few months or so. And then, which allows me that I'm not making these stupid high payments on credit cards anymore now, is I can actually stick back some money and actually use it for what I want to use it for, and be able to accomplish some other goals. And it may give me, you know, the ability to not have to work so much, so I can spend more time with my family and spend more time working on projects like reloading ammunition and getting to go to the gun range and going hiking and building this car out here, And that's, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to 2023 being a good year for me and my family and this channel. Hopefully, hopefully I get to spend some more time with you guys and putting out some better content. Maybe I'll end up actually getting a good camera system and computer so I can do better video editing. Because literally this whole past year and a half, I've just filmed for this channel on my cell phone, my Galaxy S10, So, yeah, that's the reason why the videos are kind of poor quality and whatnot. But that's just the way it is. I don't have the money to spend on camera equipment, and the extra money I do have, I like to spend it on shooting and actually practicing and going shooting and enjoying that. The channel is just kind of a byproduct of me just sharing with you guys some of the stuff that I like to do. It's just for fun. Doesn't make me any money. There's really no, I have no motivation to just get super in depth with YouTube and then quit my job, because it would be cool if it just blew up one day and that just happened, but yeah, I'm not putting any eggs in that basket, so to speak. Yeah. So, X5 Ops, which is going to be, it stands for X5 Overland Project, but we'll just call it X5 Ops for short, and it kind of also sounds a little more tactical, if you will, and got to do something to keep up with, or just maybe have a channel name that people might want to get into, because the little Arkansas thing was a little confusing to some people. I noticed they commented about it and they're like, thought that maybe it was Kansas or something. But yeah, no. The X5 Ops, X5 Overland Project series will be the new channel name. And so we're going to have videos about actually, going out and camping and whatnot, and setting up and doing some more fun stuff that's not just shooting. But I am going to be doing more handgun shooting, getting into this, because that's something I really don't film for. I do shoot handguns, just not as often as I would like to, as not as often as I need to keep my practice up and be able to hit the targets that I'm aiming at and that sort of thing. But I've been thinking about it a lot, and it's expensive as hell, but I'm thinking about trying to get a membership at the Twisted Barrel Range in Little Rock, which is going to cost me like $500 or some shit to sign up for it, and then it's going to cost me probably $500 or $600 a year for a membership. I think it's like $55 a month or some shit like that, which is a little high for a gun range membership, to be honest. And I don't know, but it's the only long range in Arkansas, and that's close to me. You know, it'd be like an hour drive for me to go get to sit on a 1 mile range, you know, and really get to see what I can do. Other than that, we're kind of having to set up makeshift guerrilla ranges out in the friggin' woods out in the middle of nowhere where it's hard to spot bullet impacts and that sort of thing. It's like, well, if you're not on target with the first shot, you really don't know where you're hitting at, and so you can't really correct for, you know, getting on the target. So we're at a super bad disadvantage for really trying to learn how to shoot long range, but we're going to start there, just roughing it out in the woods, setting up our range, our makeshift ranges that are just temporary before I really decide that I want to spend that much money on a gun range membership, because the range that I do go to, the membership there is like 100 and like 100 and they may have raised it. I think it may be $150 a year now. So still, that's like bringing what, $12 a month. You know, 12, $13 a month or something. That's awesome, and it's a fantastic facility. Super clean, super well maintained. You know, with the target stands are routinely fixed or replaced when people go out there and rapid fire on, destroy them like crazy people, like idiots. But yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna get into doing some reloading here. I've got a bunch of 6.5 to still do. This past couple of weeks have just been like getting sick, having the flu, and then just not being motivated to do anything. And plus, you know, my son's birthday was a couple days ago. He's turned 1, which is insane. That's just crazy that he's already a year old. Time is going by way too fast, uncomfortably fast. And yeah, so that's about it. And I'm going to get into this reloading here, and we will see you guys next time in the next video. X5 Ops out.